डॉक्टर हिमानी शुरू करिए प्लीज।
Perfect. A very warm afternoon to everyone. Welcome to the webinar series on homeopathic pharmacy, organized by Sympathy Institute of Homeopathic Pharmacy and Hospital in collaboration with Delhi Homeopathic Medical Association. I, Dr. Himani Sharma, wholeheartedly welcome to today's webinar. I feel privileged enough to be the moderator for today's session. This is our 8th session today. We will try our best to provide you with the knowledge treasures by the best speakers across the country. Before beginning the session, let me acquaint you with Sympathy. Sympathy Institute of Homeopathic Pharmacy and Hospital existed and incorporated with registration of Delhi government in 2009 at New Delhi. The institute is established, directed and led by Dr. Arfan and his team with a commitment to promote homeopathic pharmacy system of medicine worldwide. The institute established in 2009 and conducting foundation course in homeopathy, certificate in homeopathic dispensing, diploma in homeopathic pharmacy and bachelor in homeopathic pharmacy with affiliation of government authorities and UGC recognized university. Sympathy Institute of Homeopathic Pharmacy and Hospital started homeopathic pharmacy courses with the purpose to educate the people in a quality manner and produce a qualified homeopathic pharmacist. The homeopathic dispensaries, hospitals, industries were facing the problems for many years. Sympathy Institute took initiatives and started that kind of courses to reduce the quality issues in the homeopathic industry. We are also participating in conducting free dispensaries, medical camps, health checkups in schools, and also regularly organizing a mega event for the homeopathy that is run for homeopathy for our Indian society. This is all about Sympathy Institute. Now we have with us a renowned physician and a great person, Dr. Deepak Sharma, General Secretary of Delhi Homeopathic Medical Association, DHMA, and founder director of Orbit Chemist. I request sir to say a few words about DHMA. Welcome, sir.
थैंक यू डॉक्टर हिमानी। आप सभी लोगों को मेरा नमस्कार। मैं डॉक्टर दीपक शर्मा, दिल्ली होम्योपैथिक मेडिकल एसोसिएशन का जनरल सेक्रेटरी। आप सभी लोगों का सबसे पहले स्वागत करता हूं आज के हमारे स्पीकर जो सबसे सीनियर आदमी है और डॉक्टर ईश्वर दास सर का। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर, आप हमारे साथ हैं। उसके बाद थैंक यू बोलता हूं डॉक्टर कांत सर को, जिन्होंने ये पूरी सीरीज ऑर्गेनाइज की और आज इस सीरीज का जो है लास्ट डे है और ये हमारे लिए बहुत गौरव की बात है कि इतने सीनियर सर हमारे साथ हैं जो इस सीरीज में आपको फार्मेसी के बारे में और भी बहुत सारी जानकारी देंगे। जो जिनको कोई भी क्वेश्चंस हो वो प्लीज चैट बॉक्स में पूछें, ज्यादा अच्छा रहेगा। जो लोग यहाँ पर नए हैं मैं उन लोगों को दिल्ली होम्योपैथिक मेडिकल एसोसिएशन के बारे में बता दूं। दिल्ली होम्योपैथिक मेडिकल एसोसिएशन 1932 में डॉक्टर युद्धवीर सिंह सर द्वारा बनाई गई थी। डॉक्टर युद्धवीर सिंह सर दिल्ली के पहले हेल्थ मिनिस्टर थे, जिन्होंने नेहरू होम्योपैथिक मेडिकल कॉलेज, दिल्ली पब्लिक लाइब्रेरी और दिल्ली में बहुत सारी होम्योपैथिक चैरिटेबल डिस्पेंसरीज या होम्योपैथिक डिस्पेंसरीज का उद्घाटन किया था और उन्होंने खुद दिल्ली पब्लिक लाइब्रेरी और नेहरू होम्योपैथिक मेडिकल कॉलेज को खुद ही फाउंडेशन किया है। डॉक्टर युद्धवीर सिंह सर दिल्ली होम्योपैथिक बोर्ड के भी पहले चेयरमैन रहे हैं और उन्होंने बहुत सारे होम्योपैथी के लिए बहुत सारा काम किया जो जिनको आज हम लोग बहुत अच्छे से याद करते हैं और उन्हीं के सारे दिल्ली में बहुत सारे ऐसे रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशन है जो उन्होंने खुद बनाए थे। दिल्ली होम्योपैथिक मेडिकल एसोसिएशन 1932 से लगातार दिल्ली पब्लिक लाइब्रेरी के साथ मिलकर के सेमिनार्स, बहुत सारे एक्टिविटीज, हेल्थ कैंप्स सभी कुछ करती आई है। होम्योपैथी को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए हमेशा दिल्ली होम्योपैथिक मेडिकल एसोसिएशन ने काम किया है। मैं गौरवान्वित महसूस करता हूं अपने आप को कि मैं आज दिल्ली होम्योपैथिक मेडिकल एसोसिएशन का जनरल सेक्रेटरी हूं। आज हमारे साथ हमारे पैटर्न डॉक्टर वीपी सिंह सर भी हैं जो बाद में वोट ऑफ थैंक्स कहेंगे। बिना किसी देरी के मैं चाहता हूं कि डॉक्टर हिमानी आप सर का इंट्रोडक्शन दें और प्रोग्राम को आगे बढ़ाएं। ओवर टू यू डॉक्टर हिमानी।
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words. Now I would like to introduce to all our dignified and respected speaker for the today's session, Dr. Ishwar Das, former director, National Institute of Homeopathy. Professor Dr. Ishwar Das is practicing as senior consultant at Trivandrum, Kerala. He is the editor of the Advancement in Homeopathic Research, formerly Asian Journal of Homeopathy. Dr. Das has done his DHMS from Tamil Nadu Homeopathy Council, Diploma NMD Home in Repertory, MBA Healthcare Administration from the Faculty of Management Studies, University of Delhi, and PhD from MUHS Nasik. He joined in the central government service in 1979 and retired as the joint advisor from the Ministry of Ayush. He was the director, National Institute of Homeopathy, Kolkata, specialist validator at Center for Health Informatives, project coordinator, National Homeopathy Research Institute in Mental Health, Kottayam. He is also the visiting professor and PhD coordinator at Sharda Krishna Homeopathic Medical College, Tamil Nadu. Dr. Das is recipient of Homeopath of the Year 2008 award from the Board of Homeopathic System of Medicine, Delhi. Lifetime Achievement Award from the Center for the Advancement Studies in Homeopathy. Scroll of Honor Award on the occasion of 66th World Homeopathic Congress 2011, held in the New Delhi by Liga. Significant Contribution Award on Alternative Medicines on the occasion of International Conference on Multidisciplinary Healthcare by All India Institute of Medical Sciences in 2014. He is a voracious reader, writer, and an acclaimed teacher. He contributed significantly in the development of a new order in the public health. And he has also a contribution in the various platforms and organizations. He published several books and scientific articles in the several medical journals. So today he will be discussing on a very innovative and interesting topic, which is challenges in homeopathic pharmacy and possible solutions. I hope you all are looking forward for the today's session. I request you all to listen patiently. You can post your queries in the chat box, which will be discussed at the end of the session. Now, without taking much time, I would like to invite the speaker for today, Dr. Ishwar Das. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Thank you. Thank you. Very good afternoon to all the dignitaries, the experts who have been working behind this seminar. First of all, my sincere thanks to Dr. Akan because he contacted me to participate in this webinar. And it being one of the most innovative subject and very dear subject to me, I thought I will accept it. He asked for an early date. I could join only today. Sincere apologies. I'm Dr. Deepak Sharma, General Secretary of Delhi Homeopathic Medical Association, one of the pioneer professional organization which has been relentlessly working on upliftment of homeopathy. I know this association and I have been a part of their seminar when I was in Delhi. And they have been working their best to popularize homeopathy. Dr. Shweta Singh, Dr. VP Singh, and event is hosted by Dr. Himanshi Sharma. Thank you very much for organizing this great event. I have few slides on the subject on challenges in homeopathic pharmacy. Friends, before going to the slides, I'll just tell that some of these are based on my personal experiences and something has been collected from various places to make the presentation impressive. See, I've been with the government for about 35 years and I retired in 2010. After that, again, I worked with the government for about 10 years. I happened to observe homeopathy, practice homeopathy, understand homeopathy, teach homeopathy from an insider's view. And also I happened to get experience to see homeopathy from an outsider's perspective. I was the chairman of Global Homeopathic Foundation, which is one of the renowned organization, non-professional organization, non-governmental organization, working for the upliftment of the science behind homeopathy. Homeopathy, as all of us know, all of you are homeopaths, and मेरे को ये पता था कुछ फार्मेसी स्टूडेंट्स भी होंगे इसके साथ इस वेबिनार में homeopathic postgraduate students who are undergoing MD in homeopathic pharmacy might also be there. So मैं थोड़ा सा actually my comfortable language is English, but हिंदी में भी थोड़ा सा मिक्स करने के लिए कोशिश करेंगे. मेरे को एक सौभाग्य मिला है होम्योपैथी को अंदर से देखने के लिए, अंदर से समझने के लिए, और होम्योपैथी को एक बाहर का third person's view, from an outsider's view, to see homeopathy. Homeopathy, as all of us know, it's one of the finest medical system and possibly the futuristic medical health care delivery system. 2030 years से होम्योपैथी एक फर्म फुटिंग में आ गया था, आगे अभी तक, बट ये फर्म फुटिंग से हमको आगे बढ़ाना, आगे जाना है, बहुत आगे जाना, because possibly this is the only most refined, cost effective, safe मेडिकल सिस्टम. इसको आगे बढ़ाने के लिए हमारा पास जो दिक्कतें आते हैं, most of the difficulties which we face are some of the criticism which we face from the people who do not understand homeopathy. जो होम्योपैथी के बारे में जो जानते हैं उनको ज्यादा क्रिटिसिज्म नहीं करना, उनको कंफ्यूजन होगा, उनको डाउट्स होगा. कंफ्यूजन एंड डाउट्स जहाँ होती हैं हम क्लियर कर सकते हैं, हम बात कर सकते हैं. हमको जानते, सपोज इफ आई डू नॉट नो, आई कैन गेट सम एक्सपर्ट्स टू एक्सप्लेन दैट, so we can improve our knowledge. But the people who do not want to understand, who do not want to know homeopathy from a deeper angle, उनको कन्विंस कराना बहुत मुश्किल भी है. उनका जो मसल पावर, मनी पावर, वॉइस पावर बहुत ज्यादा है. तो नॉट टू, इनको समझाने के लिए, इनको कन्विंस करने के लिए नहीं, हमारा सिस्टम को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए. अभी लोग बोलते हैं होम्योपैथी सेकंड लार्जेस्ट मेडिकल सिस्टम्स इन द वर्ल्ड. WHO में अबाउट 38 मेडिकल सिस्टम्स एक्सेप्टेड है. उसमें जो फर्स्ट है एलोपैथी है, मॉडर्न मेडिसिन, व्हाटएवर इट इज, एंड बिकॉज इट इज अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड यूनिफॉर्मली. सेकंड स्टेटस में जब आएंगे, it is definitely homeopathy. It is being practiced in over 100 countries. अभी WHO का जो ट्रेडिशनल मेडिसिन का जो पब्लिकेशन आया है 2019 का, उसमें भी होम्योपैथी इज अबाउट 100 कंट्रीज में प्रैक्टिस कर रहा है. वन वे और अदर इट इज बीइंग प्रैक्टिस्ड. बट मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है, एज ए पर्सन हु सी होम्योपैथी फ्रॉम इनसाइडर्स व्यू एंड आउटसाइडर्स व्यू, is should we remain second all the time, or should we allow the third one to come second and put us back to third position or fourth position or fifth position? ये तो होने वाला है, because आयुर्वेदा 10 साल पहले वर्ल्ड में कहीं था नहीं, except a few people who have been using expatriates who have been using Ayurvedic medicine in some countries. Now, with the rigorous patronage given by Government of India and the Ayush Ministry, it is also popular, or it's also being practiced in more than 80 countries. हमारा बीच में about 202, 210 countries है. उसमें हम 100 countries है. That is also not a very happy thing for us to follow, to be contented. हमको 200 countries में जाना, हमारा पोजीशन सेकंड में कम से कम रखना है, सेकंड से फर्स्ट आने के लिए कोशिश भी कर रहा है. Then only the system will become much acceptable to the public. So ये क्या कर सकते हैं, कैसे कर सकते हैं, इसको क्या होम्योपैथी में क्या स्ट्रेंथ है, क्या वीकनेस है, होम्योपैथी का जो वीकनेसेस, how we can rectify and improve ourselves to go forward. In that direction, one of the greatest effort is made by the Sympathy Institute. Congratulate them, because I know Dr. Kant, when I was in the ministry, he used to come there, he used to take guidance, and wholeheartedly he has put all his commitments to develop this institute. I'm so glad within a short span of time, they have started with a certificate course to begin with. Now, very glad to see that they are having diploma course and bachelor's course. That homeopathic pharmacy, on my heart, I'll tell you, the most important subjects in undergraduate education. So BHMS में और FD में दो subject most important, vital, cardinal, वो है फार्मेसी, फार्माकोलॉजी, फार्माकोकाइनेटिक्स, फार्माकोडायनामिक्स, ये सब जिस होम्योपैथी का जो फार्मेसी कंपोनेंट है, this is one of the subject which need to be more care, attention, and वो subject even undergraduate course में भी it is very insignificantly being taught, and now it's good that there are courses for pharmacists and dispensers. Pharmacist is most important component, not only to dispense the medicine, but to develop the science, to undertake basic science, basic research in homeopathy. So, us aspect, keeping all these aspects, I have made few slides to see what are the challenges in pharmacy and how we can make efforts to rectify that, so that जो present day criticism, some of the criticisms जो लोग homeopathy को देते हैं, that will get resolved. Unless it is resolved, future of homeopathy is not going to be very, very bright. Once on one side, we want to make efforts to make homeopathy the most refined and most accepted medical system. इसको आगे बढ़ाना है. And there are detractors. There are people who want to pull down us. So unko we should not knowingly, we should not get into their trap and fall into deep sea. So let us see what are those slides and how best we can. Think slides are okay, fine, visible. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
It is.
yeah. Now, the strength of homeopathy, I told the strength of homeopathy. Homeopathy is not meant for specifically for pharmacy and pharmacy interested candidates. You should know what are so that we focus on those things to develop it further. Homeopathic remedies are safe and effective. Each of us, every one of us knows most safe and effective, and possibly the most safest medicine and effective medicine. जो the refined biomedicine or modern medicine, the greatest drawback is side effects of the drugs. At least homeopathy से आज तक कोई भी patient homeopathic दवाई लेके death नहीं हुआ. We can vouch that. It has already established a network of teaching institutions and large number of institutions, research facilities, and extramural research, set up pharmacopoeia commission, and private sector involvement. Actually, it is not only the government sector. Private sector involvement in homeopathy is much better, because in drug development, drug manufacturing, in teaching institutions, in private clinics, all this, the private sector is playing a huge role, major role. This is totally an unorganized one. We need to make effort to bring all the private players into one, so that we can understand their difficulties to improve our spread. Principle similia in curative. Actually, homeopathy one of the complete medical system. Why we say is it has got a very strong philosophical background called similia for curative care, and we have a genus epidemicus concept for preventive care, and we have a constitutional and miasmatic approach for promoting health. These are the three major components in healthcare. Any medical system you take, curative, preventive, and promotive are very, very important. And we have very strong strength in that. We have a solid scientific and philosophical base. We have to refine it and improve it. That's the second. Potential strength to treat certain diseases for which there is less or no treatment in other systems. This is the greatest advantage in homeopathy. Suppose you say commonly आप किसी के पास भी जाएंगे, किसी भी bureaucrat, I have interacted with so many senior, तुरंत ये बोलते हैं, oh, homeopathy, oh, what के लिए बहुत बढ़िया है, what's, cons के लिए बहुत बढ़िया है, children के लिए बहुत बढ़िया है, allergies के लिए बहुत बढ़िया है. These are the things which we commonly listen from people who do not know much homeopathy. They have not experienced homeopathy. When we see that we can treat from allergy to asthma, when we can see that common cold to cancer, there are strength in each of these diseases, but under an expert and expert treatment is possible for all these. But common men understand that वार्ड्स के लिए, कॉन्स के लिए, कॉमन के लिए, जुकाम के लिए, बच्चों के लिए, दांत प्रॉब्लम के लिए, डायरिया के लिए, are the major strength. So we have to expand not only on tertiary healthcare, primary healthcare. यहाँ primary healthcare है, लोगों को जरूरत ज्यादा है, खांसी जुकाम, asthma, छोटे मोटा issues, heart injuries, calendula, हमारा calendula इतना बढ़िया antiseptics है, it's not getting that patronage as it is there for Savilo or Dettol. Classical medicines have immense scope on long-term and non-communicable diseases, hormonal imbalances, behavioral problems, epidemic controls, all these are deliberate study. Public acceptance as a standalone treatment and also as an adjunct with the other medicine treatment. Homeopathy का जो chemotherapy के homeopathic medicine के साथ दे देंगे chemotherapy का side effects बहुत कम हो जाते हैं. Everybody knows it. People uses it widely. We should develop. We should use this. We should document this evidence. In allergies and viral infections, homeopathy is a better option. About 383 truck manufacturing units, big 383. Now, coming back, what is pharmaceutical? That is what is the subject today. What is pharmaceutics? When I say that pharmaceutics, it is a discipline of pharmacy that deals with the process of turning a new chemical entity or old drugs into a medication. हम भी ये करते हैं, जो folklore practice से हमको जो जानते हैं होम्योपैथी में ये जो folklore practice में इसको effective है, we refine it, patronize it and uses it. So the pharmaceutics is a science, discipline of pharmacy which deals with process of turning a new chemical entity or vegetable entity, whatever it is, an entity ultimately chemical हो जाती है इसमें. Or old drugs, medication, is safely and effectively used for the patient. It's also a science of dosage form. That is, I am talking about the pharmaceutics in this respect only. Now, when we take the market share of homeopathy, this is the latest update. There was a study in 2018. Why we want to focus more on pharmaceuticals? Why, how it has, we have come to see this whole blue line, it's all the American, North America and South America together. That takes about the majority part of the market. And Europe take about 35%. And Asia Pacific takes much less. And the Middle East, rest of the thing. Even today, in spite of the greatest development in Africa, the market of homeopathic medicine is maximum in America, not India. Though the number of practitioners in India is much higher. The market, France, Italy, Brazil, Mexico, all these states homeopathic market is very huge. You go to South Africa, market is very high. So why this is happening is the public awareness on the safety of the medicines, homeopathic medicine, on diseases for which there is no or less treatment in other systems. People know it. Public acceptance is there. There is a rising prevalence of lifestyle diseases such as obesity, diabetes, viral infection, allergies, pediatric problems. All these needs homeopathic. All these people prefer homeopathy. The problem for the one which is restraining the market growth is one, I'll say that it's availability. Suppose you want a homeopathic medicine, it's not easily available. Even if I want to use a homeopathic medicine in the dead of the night, if a patient wants to get it, there is no scope. Online availability is also now picking up, but it's very difficult. We need to find out how best homeopathic medicines are made available in every nook and corner of every country. The demand of homeopathic medicine will definitely increase once the availability is made. In some countries, there are strict regulations. The market shows the growth potential in many of these states, and the global homeopathic medicine market is progressing at a rate of 12.5%. That is something not very bad. Its annual growth is about 12.5%. So this is the market 2019 to 2017. Going progressively, most of the medicines are plant-based and animal-based medicines are also there. This is all based on the market surveys, conduct scientific market surveys. Coming back, we have seen what is homeopathic pharmaceutics and how the market is growing. Now we have to see that what is the definition for homeopathic medicine in the homeopathic in the Drugs and Cosmetic Act in India. In India, now we will focus more on the Indian context. This is the definition. Most of you know that the homeopathic medicine that includes any drugs recorded in any medicine included. Homeopathic medicine includes any drug which is recorded in homeopathic rulings or therapeutic efficacy of which has been established through long clinical experience as recorded in authoritative homeopathic literature of India and abroad, and which is prepared according to the techniques of homeopathic pharmacy and covers combination of ingredients of such homeopathic medicine, but that does not include the medicine which is administered on parental route. This is the definition which is there in the Drugs and Cosmetic rule. Friends, you might have seen it. There are a lot of inconsistencies in this definition, which was created in somewhere in 2060s. It needs a relook. It's one of the biggest challenge. So my first point is on the challenges which homeopaths face is the definition itself. When we say a product as homeopathic medicine, when we say the homeopathic medicine, it should qualify the strict regime prescribed by Hahnemann, a remedy that has undergone through the process of drug dynamization. Unless the medicine is undergone through the drug proving and the results are codified in the Materia Medica, that medicine will not, in strict terms, it will not qualify as a homeopathic medicine. I think you will all appreciate. But when we say that definition, recorded in the homeopathic provings, that is first part 1, R part, efficacy of which has been established through clinical experience. Whose clinical experience? Is it a clinical experience qualified by the Research Council or individuals? If I have certain clinical experience, can I use it to put it in the definition of homeopathic medicine? And tomorrow somebody else have a clinical experience, third person will have clinical experience. Unless a systematic clinical experience has been evaluated and a double-blind randomized clinical evaluation has been conducted, we put all those substances into homeopathic medicine, there will be a chaos. Why I'm telling this is, there was a seminar in Germany some time back when I attended there. One great gentleman from Germany, he was vocally presenting the tear. No, he was presenting, sorry. He presented a presentation, the benefits of Berlin Wall potentized. You know, friends, the East Germany, West Germany, there was a wall, and that wall was demolished, and people took sand from that wall, potentized, and he observed that for emotional bonding, that medicine is great. His inference was Berlin Wall 30 is a great medicine for emotional bonding. Such sort of a clinical experience, personal experience, we can't ascribe to put it in the homeopathic definition. So we need to see what exactly is a homeopathic medicine. Can we include only a medicine which has undergone drug proving, or codified, experimented and evaluated and found to be correct, then we can put it. Now our formulary homeopathic, classical homeopathic medicine is about 4,000. It was about 3,000 few years back. 1,000 more medicine is used. Another 10 years, I think about the homeopathic inventory will become more than 10,000. So can we allow this? only one and one remedy that will qualify the label of medicine strict sciences which has undergone the homeopathic drug proof. In homeopathic material medica, there are several medicines that are empirically or toxicologically and with pharmacological evidence. I don't say that they are useless, but they could be put a separate book so that more research will focus on those medicines. But when we are developing a new drug, we will use only those few medicines which has gone through a rigorous drug proving in one category, that whose therapeutic efficacy has been repeatedly verified and pure, just like the 99 drugs which are there in Materia Medica Pura. Those medicine has undergone, which has undergone the rigorous drug proving and drug studies. They can be classified as homeopathic medicine. We should call the others in some other name. These are called homeopathic medicines, but the pharmacodynamics of these remedies as per the homeopathic principles have not been studied. There are several combinations, formulations available. These are also called homeopathic medicine. External preparations, cosmetics are also marketed in the name of homeopathic medicine. The first challenge is the definition recorded in homeopathic therapeutic I already mentioned. So can we have a more refined definition for homeopathic medicine? When we say homeopathic medicine, you can put different names for other things. I am not telling that you should be related. The combination may be a reality, formulation may be a reality, mother nature is a reality. All these are there. We can't wash it away. But when we say that homeopathic medicine, there should have a strict regime. That then only homeopathy will survive. Otherwise, everybody will put their clinical experiences and spoil the homeopathic material. Now, coming back, the next part is that was my first part of the presentation. Second is the homeopathic pharmacopoeia. Anyone never wrote a book on standards on homeopathic pharmacopoeia. In 1805, he published the results of his observations in Fragmenta de Veribus Medicorum Positivus, a book in Latin which explained his findings on experimental pharmacology and first to ascertain the positive effects of drugs. We all know that. 1805, the journey of homeopathy started. The publication of this article on Fragmenta de Veribus. His scattered records in the writings, along with other things, are available in the Organon of Medicine, Materia Medica Pura, Chronic Diseases, and his things, his fragmentary writings forms the basis of the homeopathic pharmacopoeia which evolved later. In all these publications, general and special instructions are given for the preparation of homeopathic medicine. So, ये तो है. Homeopathic pharmacopoeia evolved later, and now हमारे पास ये 7 standard pharmacopoeias are available. German homeopathic pharmacopoeia in Germany. It is published in 1825. British homeopathic pharmacopoeia published in 1870, first edition. Subsequently came later editions. The USHP in 1897. French homeopathic pharmacopoeia, Indian homeopathic pharmacopoeia, 10 volumes, started from 1971. Mexican homeopathic pharmacopoeia, which is in Spanish, Spanish-speaking people, in published in Mexico, and Brazilian homeopathic pharmacopoeia, which is in Portuguese. These are the standard pharmacopoeia are available. I'll give a brief glimpse about these pharmacopoeia for an academic interest. So this is German homeopathic pharmacopoeia. The first homeopathic pharmacopoeia published in Leipzig, Germany, and these things are first volume is not available. Now this third or fourth volume is available in this 2 or 3 volumes. It's available. English translation is very much available. If anybody wants soft copy, I can share that. And the British homeopathic pharmacopoeia, the second and third edition has come. First was published in 1870. These are also available. This is the second one, and third one is the third edition. And the latest one in 2019, which has copied the new homeopathic pharmacopoeia. And this is homeopathic pharmacopoeia USA, USHP, 1897 it was published. and now it is getting edited. It is being revised. And Indian homeopathic pharmacopoeia, already 10 volumes have been published, and these are the medicines. 180, first volume 180, 100, about 980 medicines have been already published. Monographs of these medicines, not medicine. Whatever is the standard prescribed in the homeopathic pharmacopoeia, we call it monograph. The monograph means the signature of the medicine, how it is collected, when it is to be collected, what are the parts used, and how the parts are tested, and what is the bioassay done for that. These are there in the form of monograph. It is already available. These are for the classical French homeopathic pharmacopoeia. 320 medicines are there. Mexican homeopathic pharmacopoeia. So many editions have come. And this is the Brazilian homeopathic pharmacopoeia. So this is only for an academic interest. You can definitely get all these from your library. If somebody wants, I can share it. So this is when we analyze the homeopathic pharmacopoeia, the second challenge comes. A big challenge. Anybody who wanted to do a PhD on homeopathic pharmacy, this is a big subject, because there are a lot of inconsistencies on the part used, the testing methods, the collection techniques, even the medicine, same medicine, part used in one pharmacopoeia is not the one which is used in other pharmacopoeia. Somebody should study all this. They should make effort to correct this, and we should publish a universal homeopathic pharmacopoeia. Some of us collectively, let the different countries prevail. Once we can all join together and make a unified, universal homeopathic pharmacopoeia, many of these problems will go away. And we will have a standard pharmacopoeia. The problem is, suppose USSP says that the leaves are used, and India says that the whole plant. When we get the symptomatology of that medicine may not be the same. The signature of the medicines may not be the same. We will be importing that medicine, but that may not have the one which exactly is there. So the part used is very important. Testing methods should be very genuine. And the season of collection, all these should be uniform. It cannot be, could not, at least a herbal medicine. Chemical entity, fine. And chemical entity is easy. Minerals, okay, fine. And no sorts, yes, we can have standards. But at least what about the vegetable? The plant-based, we need to have a standard. At least it's a big challenge. I already mentioned there are now 77 countries. WHO. In WHO, there is a traditional medicine division. Some of us can take up the issue with the WHO Southeast Asia regional office in Delhi with a full project report on harmonizing homeopathic pharmacopoeia and get fund. You can easily get a fund. It may not be very difficult if we rightfully approach it. And the third part of my presentation is on the challenges on homeopathic preparation. Homeopathy follows special process of preparations of medicine from Homeopathy follows a special process of preparing medicines from the crude product called drug dynamization. I think it's very basic, fundamental. I will not go for that. Using alcohol prepared from different source material, basic starting potency of homeopathy is called mother tincture. These are very fundamentals, not very interesting to many of you because you all know this. So fundamentally, the problem comes in this system. We can the challenge when I say that we have three scales of it: the decimal scale, the centesimal scale, and the LM potency scale. As I mentioned earlier, there are about 4,000 homeopathic medicines. Just imagine there are about 5 major potencies: 3x, 6, 30, 200, 1 10 are about 5 potencies for each of these. 4,000 into 5. in 1 decimal scale, or 4,000 into 5 in centesimal scale, 4,000 into 5 in LM potencies. Can we offer to have such a big inventory for homeopathy? Anybody is going to use all these potencies, and any pharmacy can they prepare and stock it. Even none of the pharmacies in the India, 380, they may not be preparing all the potencies by themselves. They might be using the back potencies prepared by somebody. We have such a huge inventory. If there is, has anybody conducted a scientific study on the usefulness of decimal, centesimal, 50 millisimal? And if we can shorten that, out of all the 3, 1 is better, let us discard that. If we say that this medicine's decimal potency is good, this is centesimal potencies, then keep it. If this is LM potency, keep it. But expecting every medicine to be available in all the 3 potencies in different potencies, it's Herculean. It's Herculean. It's unimaginable. Will not be able to manage. Nobody will be able to manage any quality assurances. People will put a label, and I should not share it, but I'll tell you. One day, long time back when I was in CGHS, I asked for Naphthalene 200 because Naphthalene 3x I used to prescribe for cataract scenario. Then I asked, can I see the bottle? Then he got blah, 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 blah. He didn't give the medicine. He was annoyed and he took that. So you go to some pharmacy, they give a potency by label. It may not have that. There are big challenges in it. So centesimal potency is the same thing in the system. One part of the medicine substance within 99, of course, academically. So I will not go for the preparation of centesimal medicine because these slides are made not only for homeopaths but for other people who doesn't know homeopathy. That's why some of these slides are overlapping. So I will skip it. And LM potency, yes, the dilution is too much. Then, if you make a comparative changes that happens during potentization, they say, suppose you see that the 2x is prepared from the mother teacher, the number of secretions given 10, and when we go to the 2x into, suppose you put the equivalent of 2x is somewhere about 1C, 4x is somewhere like 2C, and 6x is somewhere like 3C, and 8x is somewhere like 4C. This is the pharmacologically active substances reduces when we go potentize. And in CD in decimal potencies, it comes down 10 raised to -1, subsequently 10 raised -2. Whereas in decimal scale, in centesimal scale, it is 10 raised to -2. That is all. This is what is the progressively the potencies chart. See, when we say that the 12x, which is equivalent to 6C, is 1 picogram of original medicinal substance is there. Large number of bioscience research, biophysics research, physics, biophysics, nanophysics, nanotechnology, all these research studies have to come and see what is the changes happening in serial dilutions, whether if we feel that 12x is equivalent to 6C, either we can keep 12C or 6C, why should we keep both of them? If the 6C and the 12C, if their therapeutic effect is the same, why should we keep it 2 potencies and make our Alamara too big for us? And a lot of PhD research studies can be started on the changes in homeopathic potentization. Not only this, on the changes, the stroke given. There are so many methods, the Kosokovian methods, the Feynmanian method, the vibratory techniques. Nobody has standardized homeopathic preparations. That is, we'll have a seminar exclusively on potentization sometime later. The quality of this challenge third is the quality assurance become a calamity. Rational explanation of potentization lacking. Validation of potency is a question. No SOP exists on preparations. infinitesimal level of potentization, though there are some efforts to find scientific explanation through experimental studies such as nanoparticle theory, water memory theory, cyanometric theory, and quantum principles. So far, such evidences are not firmed up. It's a big, big challenge for homeopathy and big, big opportunity also for high-end research. Better understanding as to what homeopathic medicine and preparations coming out in the name of homeopathic medicine, but do not qualify to be called homeopathic. Definitely, it's not that I will come late. The fourth part of my presentation is these sort of advertisement. I have taken an American advertisement. They say that's a homeopathic remedy, or the combinations are there. See, it start from 1.2% of William Chipa, Berberis vulgaris, Collinsonia, Petroselinum, Trifolium, alpha lipic acids, ambrosia, palladium, Allium cepa, Allium sativa, Berberis vulgaris, Sheldonium, Collinsonia, Petroselinum, Trifolium. So, what is all this nonsense? Have anybody conducted any scientific study? This medicine is also a part of homeopathic remedy. Large number of homeopathic medicines are flooding in the market based on certain empirical evidences. That's a big challenge for me. Why I'm taking is in 2000, I think, 2015, the federal drug authorities in USA put a notification to revisit the homeopathic products because they found that Belladonna 3x and Chamomilla 3x were Calcarea force were part of a medicine for teething trouble. They have, America has been marketing. And the second slide I showed, second or third slide I show the market, huge market for homeopathic medicine, 18 billion in American market. 18 billion is a big amount. Homeopathic medicine. And the so-called pharma companies are very much agitated on the expanding market of homeopathic products. They found out that one particular product is being marketed in America for teething trouble of babies. It contains Belladonna 3x, falana something. And they immediately catch hold and told that Belladonna 3x is highly toxic. It should not be given. That is deadly nitrile is toxic, and create petition the Federal Drug Administration. But Federal Drug Administration investigated what is the basis for this. There is no such medicine there is no such medicine in the American homeopathic pharmacopoeia. These were all marketed based on empirical evidence, as it happens in India also. So they stopped it. They notified that then now they have come up with new regulation that for every product which contains such thing, people have to take prior approval for marketing that product. So it has definitely put a setback to the homeopathic marketing because in America, most of the products are OTC, over-the-counter product. People used to go and purchase it. Because of these restrictions, the marketing of these products have been prohibited. So the Federal Drug Cosmetic Act recognizes these are actually, again, FDA defined homeopathy as a practice of treating. The practices, their definition is also very big. And there was no strict regulations. There was no need for taking permission to make homeopathic medicine because regulations were not there. People exploited that. They should have used with classical homeopathic medicine. But yeah, they should have used only with classical preparations, but they have started marketing products in the name of homeopathy with unscientific basis. Yeah, this is the FDA has given notifications, and they have agency warned consumers not to rely on OTC asthma products labeled as homeopathic medicine. And the Federal Drug Administration issues a warning. It's a great setback for people who have been using that. They will not use it. So this sort of warning, sometimes it happens in India also. Unless we have a strict regime, this sort of regulation, strict warning may come, which will put back the development of. So FDA was issuing warning letters to companies making homeopathic products. The agency warned consumers not to rely on OTC products. So it will create a huge setback to homeopathy. It will not only the product, the setback will not be to the product or company. Setback will be to homeopathy. Unregulated, the challenge is unregulated products floating in the market. Now, my fifth challenge, different types of homeopathic preparations in the market. Classic. Yeah. With all this experience, challenge 1, challenge 2, challenge 3, challenge 4, and all this we can come back to this challenge, except the homeopathic drug dynamization. Everything fall down to this one, because we have large number of classical medicines. I also told that classical medicines which are having scientific drug proof, which qualifies drug proving, and there are products which doesn't drug proving. We need to have a separate category of these things. And formulations. What is formulations? Several individual homeopathic remedies in potencies having certain effect on specific clinical conditions are mixed and marketed by companies. Aconite, belladonna, gelsemium, bryonia, example and small example. These medicines are mixed because each of these medicines individually they are used in common cold, in fever, in throat infections, in acute viral infections. Most of these medicines are having individual usage in that. And to make the practice very simple, there are some companies can mix these things and market as a fever. So practitioners need not put effort to get an individualized homeopathic medicine. They will get a ready-made packet. And these products are can be marketed as an OTC product. Anybody can go to the shop and purchase and use it. As one of the medicine will work in fever, maybe it may give some relief. But then what the other medicine is doing, whether it is giving any side effects or synergic actions or counter reaction, antidoting, we don't know. So such sort of an empirical use is going to harm the homeopathic practice. So these are the formulations. We know there are a lot of formulations in the market. And the third category is the combinations. When I say combination, these are the preparations where pharmacologically active substances are mixed, mother tinctures are mixed, low potencies are mixed, toxic medicine which are having toxic effects are mixed together and marketed in the form of cough syrup, tonics, some other preparations. Whether these medicines, the safety issues have been studied, we don't know. There is no there is no monograph for such preparations in the homeopathic formulary, in the homeopathic pharmacopoeia. So anybody can mix this and publish it, market it. Most of the products which are blending in India is parallel products which was marketed in America, France, Germany. They bring a parallel product. The parallel products, their preparations which were there in America or this thing, and they get easily approval from the drug controller here and market. There might be something, definitely there may be some benefit. I do not know, but we need to know the dosage form. We need to have a proper therapeutic efficacy and toxicity study, documented it. Otherwise, it will do much harm, like yes, it started warning. Most of the OTC products selling in the market are either from the second or third categories. In many countries, the concept of OTC do not exist, and all the homeopathic products are freely available. Again, it is the externals and veterinary and agri-care products are also having large number of markets. Challenge 5 is the confusion on possible approach to justify homeopathic medicine. Yeah, when we take that, this is a great confusion exists here in the homeopathic. Confusion exists as to what is homeopathic medicine and what is homeopathic product. If we can separate this homeopathic medicine and homeopathic product and prepare a homeopathic formulary. In allopathy, there is a formulary. In Ayurveda, there is a formulary. In homeopathy, we have only a homeopathic pharmacopoeia. We don't have a formula. if we have a classical medicine separately, the products, and this one of the suggestions which I gave is, let us have a formulary where the schedule 1 will be only the classical medicines which are having drug proving, which are having established drug proving records, and the schedule 2 could be those medicines which are not drug, which has not gone a strict drug proving, but empirically used. Keep it in second schedule, and gradually, as and now drug proving is done, it can be lifted from schedule 2 to schedule 1. Second step is to collect the commonly available preparations that contain pharmacologically active ingredients such as combinations, proprietary medicines, and low potency with mother tinges and low potency medicine. These medicines need to undergo shelf life study and safety measures. This may be categorized in schedule 3. Then keep it in schedule 3. No need to go away. Keep it there. Scientific, gradually, progressively, scientific studies have to be conducted, and safety study have to be conducted and marketed. Schedule 4 may contain the formulations from multiple homeopathic medicine in potency form more than 6C. This may be called homeopathic formulation. They can also be their therapeutic efficacy can also be evaluated through clinical studies. Another schedule may be kept for external use, like that there can be cosmetic, homeopathy, veterinary products. And if there is a formulary which define all these, the criticism which we faces in the name of homeopathy, the responsibility of challenging, the responsibility of owning the responsibility for general practitioners like us, for homeopathic profession as a whole, will be for the homeopathic medicine. For homeopathic products, if there is anything, it will be the responsibility of the manufacturer or some consortium who approves this. Huge inventory of medicine and products in the name of homeopathic medicine, spreading in the preparations in the name of homeopathic medicine, and uncertain quality assurance. Classify homeopathic preparations. First step, yes, again, I told, sorry, this is a repetition. Products and schedule are safe and effective. Most of the criticism coming on around products schedule 2, 3, and 4 with questionable quantity. We have seen it in American. FDA has given warning on OTC products. The criticism on homeopathic system in general and its practitioner homeopathy in general get denigrated. If the above categorization is adopted, it will differentiate homeopathic medicine from homeopathic products. So this is one approach. Now, as I think I have been told that time is 1 hour. If this is okay, I just, because of the time constraints, I was running with the slides. I didn't take time to explain in minute details. There are a lot of interesting things which we can discuss. And these are the challenges. First of all, first challenge is definition of homeopathic medicine. We need to put all our head together. Professionally, we need to create a consensus to define homeopathic medicine more appropriately. We should also define homeopathic products appropriately. We should harmonize pharmacopoeia, all the pharmacopoeias, and the quality assurance of finished products. The potency problem is a big research opportunities. And inventory, how best we can reduce the inventory or at least stop expanding the inventory. You should see, if you are going to have 136 crore people in India, if you allow it, there will be 136 crore preparations in one. Not going to be a very healthy trend. We should reduce our inventory as minimum as possible, as minimum, compact. Let there be a very rarely used medicine separately, commonly used medicine separately, so that commonly used medicine, every pharmacy will keep it. Find out some way. We should not allow this to happen forever. These are the challenges, but I feel these are the opportunities also. We should to expand our research attitudes, our thinking attitude, out of the box thinking. All these are required to make ourselves a better medical system than the chaos which we are facing now. Doesn't mean that homeopathy is bad. Homeopathy is one of the most refined medical system. If it wants to remain most refined medical system, it need to put lot of efforts to see that its medicines, its products are up to the standard, and that people should get benefit out of it. There is nothing wrong in marketing, advertising, markets are all good. It's a part of the game. But at the same time, there should be a commitment on the profession to everyone. Right? As a practitioner, as a manufacturer, as a teacher, as a researcher, we all should own certain responsibilities and put our thoughts together to develop the system. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. A small presentation, of course, and definitely a lot of things are there to think over. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for an amazing session. And so you have beautifully covered this topic by sharing your experiences with all of us. The way you explained the major challenges which is faced in today's era of homeopathic pharmacy, it was simply fabulous. And thank you once again for joining and enlightening this session with your knowledge. And it was really informative, sir. Thank you once again. And I'm pretty sure that the precious knowledge that Dr. Ishwar Das gave us will definitely help each one of us in our future endeavors also. So now we are open to question and answers. Kindly ask over your queries. You can post them in the chat box. So there is a question.
Yeah.
As per your view, where is more ethical practitioner in India or abroad?
See, very honestly, I have traveled large number of countries. Each of these countries have good number of classical, good number of it. And there are amateur practitioners also. There are very bogus practitioners. I told you that here, the Berlin Wall Street. And that is why I say that we have a strong education system. You take 33 states, the 28 states are in India. I have also traveled on almost all states in India. I visited many teaching institutions also here. If you look into that, the question abroad or India, even India, there is inconsistencies of practice. What is there in one part of the country may not be the other. There are very, very classical prescribers. There are combination prescribers. There are people who use based on keynote prescriptions. People who will always use repertorial approaches. People used to discuss. One of the main problems which I have observed is in homeopathic practice, mostly in India or abroad, mostly in India, there is no consultations with others. People prescribe by themselves and they try to keep it themselves. They never reveal their prescription. This is something not a very good practice for the development system. In India, there are certain doctors who take the case, discuss, then with their peers, with their colleagues, with their juniors, then they prescribe. That's also there in some part. If I have a cancer, say I'm a general practitioner. If a case comes to me, I will treat every case till the patient leave. I will not ask that patient to go to another homeopathic practitioner, and when I observe that the patient is not improving in my hand. This very rarely happens. There are people who see a case from different perspective. I see case from one perspective. You may see the case from a different perspective. Totality may be the same. The case taking may be the same. But some points which gives a correct indicated remedy, I may get overlooked.